So, well, says we're live.
Just
Yeah.
set it a little bit. Yeah.
All right, guys. So if you want to keep the air conditioning running, and who doesn't, because we're going to melt, donate here. If you like coffee, and you like coffee because they send us free coffee, King Harvest Hero Coffees at www.kingharv.com. They send us free coffee. Let them know you heard about it from us.
So they send us free coffee.
Yeah, so I send more free coffee. Among the Leaves Tees at tinyurl.com/Among the Leaves Tees. If you need a sassy t-shirt, he's got them. So today, Curtis is out. So John Van Stry is in the hot seat. We've also got Sanford in the peanut gallery. It's liable to be a very interesting episode today. To start out, I'd like to let everybody know that Rita and I just purchased our tickets, our plane tickets for Riders Cantina, so we will be there. God help all of y'all. Actually, I'd like to start out by asking John.
Hi, Greg.
By asking John, Warriors and wind chimes, and thought, what? I think somebody's pulling my leg. I would like to ask John to talk about briefly his lawsuit that set the groundwork for a whole bunch of folks. And the reason I bring this up is somebody on his Substack said that they were at LibertyCon and nobody had anything nice to say about John. I was LibertyCon, and I know that I called bullshit on that. But one of the things that people need to know about is your lawsuit. So can you fill us in on that?
Okay, first off, on the LibertyCon thing, you guys have no idea how many people pinged me on that. I knew the person was full of it. I knew they were just, they're a lawyer. What do you expect? Lawyers are all about the hearsay. And I made fun of them later for actually going and doing this or claiming they did this, but the lawsuit. Okay. A lot of you guys probably remember, maybe not, around 2019, just before the COVIDs hit, I filed a lawsuit against the biggest pirate in the world, ebook.bike. may he burn in hell. This was a pretty bad situation. This guy was putting up books, giving them away for free.
Books he'd ripped off.
And he had people who would rip books off for him and send them to him, put them for free. I'm sorry. And then he would sell ad space. So he was making over $300,000 a year from Google ads. Eventually, about the time I filed the lawsuit, somebody reported him, and Google finally pulled down, I guess maybe because of the lawsuit. And at that point, he went down to like $60,000 a year. I mean, one of the things in court, my lawyer was going, it's like, this guy has 2 airplanes. He goes on fancy paid vacations with his girlfriend. They rent cabin cruisers. He goes, meanwhile, my client can't afford any of that stuff because he's got to stay home and work. Same for all the other authors. There were 2 authors who I did this for, by the way, and it drives me up the wall. I cannot remember either of the names. One is an older woman whose stuff I read, and she was complaining because it was destroying her retirement. She wasn't getting any royalties anymore because everybody was going to his place because he kept claiming he had permission. And the other was a new author who wasn't getting any traction on Amazon, sold only like 10 books in his first month on Amazon. Meanwhile, he's author of the week on this site, and they're downloading thousands of copies. So it destroyed him out of the gate.
And he's not getting paid for any of it.
Yeah, he got totally ripped off. So, file DMCAs, cease and desist. DMCA does not apply if you are not in the United States. A C&D will work. DMCA does not apply if you do not have a registered outfit, basically with like the patent office for who your DCMA person is. C&Ds will still work. There's a lot of stuff on law people understand. just like there's a lot of stuff on copyright law people really have no understanding of. So did this lawsuit, and we get a judge in Dallas, who is the guy you want to have if you're doing an IP lawsuit. 90% of the cases in the United States go to him. People said I was rigging everything to get him because the last address a lot of people had of me was California. They didn't realize I've been living in Texas a couple of years now, which led to another funny story in the case. So it's going okay. He's representing himself, blah, blah, blah. Suddenly, we really should have won because he had missed a whole bunch of deadlines, this, that, and everything else. I find out 61 days after we settled, because there's a period of time after a case is settled where people can appeal and stuff, and at 60 days it runs out. Day 61, I find out that the Supreme Court was involved, the Patent Office was involved, Library of Congress was involved. They had a big-ass meeting at the Library of Congress. The notes were published. Some of the people at the thing were in the stuff, and they're talking about my lawsuit. A week after that meeting, my lawsuit got pulled from the Dallas court and put in the Second Circuit Court of the U.S. legal system. And the guy who became our judge, his cases are given to him by Supreme Court Justice Chief Roberts. So Chief Roberts assigned this guy. He's the one who had everything moved around and pulled around. This pissed me off, pissed my lawyers off, because we had a clear win. This is when my lawyers, bless them, said, we're cutting all our fees by 50%. I had very expensive lawyers. Okay, these guys are $500 an hour. I had two of them. Also, everything that we don't have to charge you for, we will not. We're going to try to work everything out. So there's a lot of stuff we're just not going to charge you for. We'll eat it, which is great. So the case ran another 6 months after that, and I'm writing humongous checks every month on this thing. The case cost me personally over $80,000, and that's not including the $30,000 that people, thankfully, and I thank them to this day, in the GoFundMe gave me. And I lost a lot of work during that time because I was too busy to work as hard as I usually do, and too nervous, because once you're in on a case like this, you're all in. Turns out they put a guy in who's like OCD as the judge. This guy goes over every little minute detail. So this judge gave the guy from who I was suing the opportunity to make every single legal argument as to why information is free and why piracy is legal and why IP rights don't exist. And then my lawyers responded to every one of those. And when it came time to finish this, I mean, there were a few hints dropped. We were suing for a lot of money. And there was a hint dropped that this case would be over sooner if I didn't. And my lawyer said, a judge makes a hint like that, you should listen, because let's be honest, you're never going to collect a dime from this kid. And the kid owes me almost $90,000 to this day. If we had gone for the full thing, he'd owe us like 10 or 20 million. And he's not poor, mind you, if he's still alive. So we dropped down to the minimums just to get it done. And the judge reading the rulings, he went through every single argument. And he shot down every single argument. And that went in. That's the Second Circuit Court. You only can appeal that court to first the 3-judge panel of the Second Court. That costs about $100,000. The full panel of all the judges on the court, which is a couple $100,000, or the Supreme Court, and that's a couple $1 million. People don't understand how expensive it is to get to the Supreme Court. I knew someone who went there once. It took 10 years, several $1 million. It is not easy. And like I said, on day 62, Amazon filed a slew of KISS lawsuits. Grissom filed. All these famous authors, they're all going after all these people because now there is a groundwork laid as to what to do, how to do it, what the process is, and it's all law. Now, what was said in that meeting, and I still have the notes, I sent them to my lawyers who laughed. The Patent Office, the Supreme Court, and the Library of Congress are like, we have a problem with copyright law. The DCMA is a mess. Congress fucked it up. Didn't use that word exactly, but close. Congress screwed up DMCA. It wasn't supposed to be what it is. And we need to fix it. We need more protection. But if we give it to Congress, they're going to mess that up too. Again. We need a lawsuit. Well, there's this guy in Canada with this ebook bike who has been causing problems, and he's in a lawsuit. And as soon as I got to that point, it's like, okay, they're talking. They literally talked about my lawsuit, and then suddenly, boom! Like I said, a week later, we were up. And one of the funny things that happened, as I mentioned before, is they're going on about where I live. I live in Van Alstyne, Texas. You can look it up. I don't hide it. And they go to the judge. He claims to live in Van Alstyne, Texas. And the judge goes, because he grew up in Dallas. Yes, I know where Van Alstyne is. I've been there many times. I just shut down that whole line of argument that I wasn't a Texas resident and that I was playing games and everything.
So to summarize, prior to John's lawsuit, the pirates that, and correct me if I'm wrong, the pirates that weren't selling the stolen property were putting up for free, but charging advertising. We're in a gray area, correct?
What they were doing was illegal, but they were making all these arguments. And, the thing is, you got to go to court to prove these arguments wrong. So you have places like Cloudflare, which Cloudflare is real. If it wasn't for Cloudflare, we wouldn't have like distributed DOS attacks and all these pirates and stuff, because they can't afford to have systems and they pay Cloudflare a lower amount to handle everything. But now it's very cut and dried. So you can go to a judge and say, I want a C&D against Cloudflare to stop carrying their content. Once they do that and the C&D is out, you can start sending it around. They can't go to the European Union. I got judges in Holland, because in the lawyers, European EU recognizes this stuff. And they'll say, oh, you can't serve this stuff here. You can't this there. So they have to go to servers out of the country. Servers out of the country charged by bandwidth. And when you can't use an aggregator like Cloudflare to handle all your bandwidth, and it just touches your main site like every hour or something, or once a day, suddenly you're seeing bills for pirate sites of like $1,000 a day. And these are in places like Bulgaria and stuff like that. And these people aren't exactly friendly if you don't pay. As far as the guy I sued, this is just the thing. It turns out he is in a number of situations where he is abusive. He is a persona non gratis at like all gaming conventions in the United States now because of some of the stuff he's done. And last I saw, he was traveling Asia and Europe and doing things there. And I think he's going to find out eventually that some of these people do not appreciate his behavior.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Could happen to a nicer guy.
And I honestly suspect he's not long for this world.
Oh, good. So John filing this lawsuit and fighting his way through it. I put John's lawsuit against e-bike book.
It was ebook bike.
I put his lawsuit up there with Maggie Hogarth's lawsuit against Games Workshop for helping particularly self-publishing. Because, and I hear this all the time, piracy doesn't actually hurt authors. Bullshit. Piracy hurts particularly. It may not hurt the big traditional publishers, but it hurts us little guys. Because, like John said, with the guy that sold 10 books on Amazon, but had 10,000 downloads he wasn't getting paid for. That happens.
There's other things that happen too. One is which if Amazon sees your book going around for free, they'll price match it, and suddenly you're not making any money. Or if you're in KU, they'll say, "Hey, you're supposed to be exclusive to Amazon. What's your book doing around here?" People have run afoul of that. Some of the other things that go on is that one of the arguments people make, it drives me up the wall. Is they go, "Well, music piracy, people go buy the albums." Yeah, because you listen to a song like constantly. You may listen to a song a lot because a song is 2 minutes. You like it, you want to hear it again. How many people out there read a book more than once? 90% don't. So if they read the book pirated, they're never going to read the book paid for because they've already read it. They don't want to see it again.
The only thing I'll flex on that, the poor guy that only sold 10 books and he's thousands downloaded. If he doesn't get pirated again and he puts out a second book, it may give him a fan base.
Yeah, but he'll get pirated again because 10,000 is making a lot of money for that pirate.
Yeah, I'm saying if the pirate goes down,
But
and then he
here's
puts out a second book, then, and
But-
by the way, I don't think this is good. I think this is simply the one advantage he gets out of it if he can put out a second book.
yeah. The problem is though you're already far behind the power curve because of the money you spent. Now I used to be one of the biggest pirated authors out there. Okay, I mean I've talked to some big name authors. Oh, I get pirated. It's like, dude, I've hacked the pirate sites. I've seen your numbers. Because I did. I went out in the before I moved to Texas. I was in California. I hacked all the pirate sites, and I went to see how much. And I was like very much up there. I was also one of the first books on the distributed network pirating. Sadly, too many tech people read my stuff. So what I ended up doing was going to the biggest pirate site. I joined. And I said, look, I'm the author. You're putting this stuff up for your readers. After your readers members have it, could you take it down, please? I said, if you do that, I'll be happy because then everybody in the world isn't coming here. And they were like, yeah, okay, we'll do that. So they would pirate the book for their members. Once their members got it, they pull it off. And now it's not out there anymore. And that actually helped a lot. But you would be surprised. People don't understand that. There are people out there who will pay actually to buy the book so they can pirate it because, they get karma, credit, whatever, for being the person who puts up all the books.
Information wants to be free.
It's not that information wants to be free; it's status.
That's
It's a status game.
That's one of the justifications for doing it is, well, information should be free. I should write for free.
No, I use that. I don't know how many people remember my Children of Steel series. It was the first book I ever wrote. I had written a bunch of books. I started putting them up, and I get all this. People want a sequel, Children of Steel. I'm like, okay, I could make this into a trilogy because it always was in my head. So I write Interregnum, which is going to be the bridge book in the trilogy. And it took me 2 years to pay back the $200 that I paid my cover artist because it was being pirated so heavy. And it was a particular fandom that was pirating the book and putting it up on sites all over the place. And when I confronted them, they said, well, so what? And I said, well, I'm not writing in this universe ever again. They go, how dare you? You need to write. You have to write. I'm like, I'm not making any money on this. Why the hell would I write it? You people ripped me off. Fuck you. Oh, man, did they get pissed. The hate mail I got for not writing for free.
The cheek on the absolute cheek of people that want you to do stuff, ask that you do stuff for exposure. Remembering the exposure is what you die from if you can't afford a roof over your head or food on your table. Or get pissy when you don't give them their free stuff anymore. Wait, you haven't written my free stuff. You're right, I haven't. I'm not gonna. But and you know what was that's the worst for Actor Press is the university sites.
Oh yeah,
the university sites that download free papers. They're all over the place. It's download free. It's various papers and monographs, scientific stuff. And then I'm going through this list of scientific stuff, and hey, look, there's Space Marines 3. The hell!
I know, it drives me up the wall. You're always going to get a certain amount of piracy, but it's the thing that drives me up the wall the most is that the people who pirate books, by and large, make six figures.
Authors, by and large, do not.
Yeah, and we don't.
It's amazing how many people who make a lot of money feel that they have the right to go pirating books. There's a bunch of studies were done on it in Europe, and they found out that so many of these guys, well, what if I don't like it? Well, are you going to pay after you read it and did like it? It's like, no, read this. Read the sample. You'll know right then if you don't like it or not.
Well,
and if you want to read for free, KU is effectively free.
Yeah.
Was
it $11 a month, $12 a month now?
Or go to the Bain Free Library.
Go to the library, period.
Or just go to the library, our local library. We supply them with books.
But the Bain Free Library has made Bain a lot of money out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Because I found people like John Ringo, David Weber, that I would, if I had not been to the Bain Free Library, would not have ever read that much of them.
Yeah, but if you go, that's the big argument that people, well, Bain Free Library is making Bain money. Yeah, but when you go to ebook, whatever the hell it's called.
It was called.
Yeah, it was called. And you get your first, you get your Law Dog files, which was on there, by the way. They go back looking for the Africa files, and they, on Bane, you get the first taste free, you pay for the rest. On the pirate sites, every one of them's free. Pisses me off.
Yeah, they're all there. And no matter what they claim, nobody's giving their books away for free. It's I tell people all the time. It's like, I want to have a sale. Sales good. I want to give my book away for free. No, nobody reads free books. The people who go to the pirate sites, yeah, they're doing scamming. But when you give books away for free on Kindle, yeah, I've talked to people. Oh, yeah, I've got 100,000 free books on my Kindle. You ever going to read any of them? Nope.
I can't imagine having 100,000 books, period.
Well, it's like one of my problems with KU when it first came out. There were a number of free books on Amazon even before KU.
Yeah.
It almost turned me off of ebooks that weren't from a major publisher because there was so much absolute dreck.
Oh, God, yes.
Still is.
I've gotten better at figuring out what's absolute dreck and what isn't. And I've also gotten much better about, I've read 3% of this book. Trash. I used to believe you got the book, you should read it. Because most of my life, if I put out the money for a book, I needed to regain my investment.
Yep.
Now, if I read 3% of your book and it sucks, I don't care if it turns into the best book in the world on page 7. I've read 3%, and I don't know how many percent per page or whatever, but I've read 3% of the book, and I haven't hit the point where it turns into the best book ever. I ain't finishing it.
No.
I don't have time.
Oh.
Somebody asked, how do they find out if their book is in being pirated?
Google search.
Google search. I would put in a Google search for free books, and then you've got to go to the website.
Google,
Yeah, you have to go to the website usually.
Google search your name. Google search the book. Google search both together. Google search some variations. Those are good starters. I sometimes will Google search the opening line of a book. That's how I find when people are doing AI reads on YouTube of my books. So
Which is happening a lot.
Yeah, there's a couple of channels. Thankfully, because I'm at the point I have a lot of fans, when that stuff happens, a lot of times I'll get an email from a fan or I'll get a page from a fan who'll say, hey, this guy's ripping you off on YouTube or here or there. So I can go after him.
We've had to shut several folks down.
Yeah, a side thing. If you were looking at a book on Amazon, and for whatever reason, Kindle, whatever, and it says, please excuse my English. This is a translation of the book that I wrote in my native language. I don't speak English or whatever. That's AI, the whole book. That's the big scam now to cover up for the bad English and the bad scenes and some of the other stuff. So they claim that they're a foreigner and the book was translated to English and the scenes may be moved to America to make it popular here. And so that's why there's errors in the book because they don't speak English. No, it's AI.
Actually, anybody who's going to be wanting to write in most foreign countries, it has a good enough education and a good enough background in English, which is required almost everywhere, that they probably write better than we do.
We have this young lady.
Okay, more properly, not better.
We have this young lady, I think she's 15 or 16, and she lives in one of the former Far Eastern stands, one of the Russian stands. She's like Mongolia, out that away, Mongolia. And her English is so elegant. And her short stories she sent us are so beautiful. And so I don't know that I really want to publish this.
You know about the English schools in India, right? Okay, back when the British ran India, they started a school system, and they call them now the English schools because they were started by the English. And they're all over India, and they're still run to this day. And so whenever you meet someone from India who speaks very proper King's English, they went to an English school in India. And I used to meet these people working for me when I was, back doing tech stuff. I get a lot of them on my team. Do you learn English one of the English schools? Oh, yeah. And they tell me which one and stuff. And the people who learned it other ways, you always tell they had more of an accent. They were slower to speak a lot of times.
Well, this young lady, I think she's 16, and she's got very spotty internet, which for the modern publisher can be a bit of a problem. But she's like, Tatarstan or Kyrgyzstan, or I mean, she's out in
She's in
that
one of the
way.
stands.
And her writing is stunningly beautiful. Her English is gorgeous. And it's like, I don't know that we need to be publishing this. It's like, wow, holy crap, this is gorgeous. Let's see. I had something. Okay, yes. What advice, John? John is one of the most successful authors I know. So this is a good question. What advice would you give the modern young author starting out?
First off, understand you're not going to be an overnight success.
Thank you.
Make sure that you really like it. Don't go writing I'm going to get rich. I'm going to make money as a writer. No, you're not going to make money as a writer. It takes a lot of work. It took me, I put up a post on this at one point on my Substack. From the time I started writing to this time I actually got self-published, it's probably close to 30 years. And then it was a number of years after that till I started making money. And the amount of effort and work once I started working on it was substantial. So if you just want to if you think you're going to get rich, no, you're not. If you want to do it as a hobby, go for it. There's nothing wrong with writing as a hobby. There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm just going to write because I enjoy it. I ain't looking to get rich. I just want to write. My original goal, and it's still my main goal today, is I want to write stories people will enjoy. I want them to be able to read it, and when they finish it, I want them to smile. If I can make them laugh or something, or think while they're reading the book, that's extra points. I just want to make people happy. I'm an entertainer. That's what I do. But you have to put the time in, and you have to learn the market. And your first couple of years, you're not going to go anywhere. I mean, Sarah Hoyt told me the secret is your backlist. That's your biggest secret, is your backlist. You work on the backlist. Don't worry about anything else. Just keep going forward. And she was right. But the market is ever changing. We're in a strange market right now. And part of it is because of AI, and part of it is because a lot of the politics, and part of it is because the AI data centers that are being built are messing with so many things. There's a lot going on. The computer prices are all going crazy. Right now, the world is a little strange. And
always has been, always will be.
I mean, we're in a transition state. We're in one of those spots in time where the people who can figure out where it's going are going to make bank.
Yeah.
And so the one thing I would say is, keep pushing forward. I am currently in the process of looking to change my model, my business model. I'm looking to switch over to probably writing about half my books for TradPub. So that means I'm going to write more books for Bain. I'm going to write more books for Raconteur Press. Part of this is because I'm older. My house is just about paid off. I don't need the money as badly. The other part is I don't have to now deal with editors as much. I don't have to deal with covers as much. I don't have to deal with marketing at all. There's a whole bunch of stuff there that suddenly I can push off onto other people, because for the last 10 years, I've been going balls to the wall. And it would be nice to be able to pull back, and instead of trying to write 10 to 12 books a year, maybe write 6 to 8.
Would you consider editing some of the anthologies for?
No, I am not an editor.
But I have a perfect anthology for you.
I am not an editor.
Hurricanes, Harems, and Hentai.
Nope.
I am not an editor. Maybe funny, but no, I am not an editor. I've never even tried writing a story with somebody else. The whole idea of doing it with someone else, I probably could. But I think at some point I'd be, okay, it's all yours now.
I'd rather do it with somebody. I'd rather do it with somebody else than do it alone in my room.
Well, you're funny that way.
That goes for a lot of things. One of the things
by yourself, you're with somebody you love.
No, if I'm by myself, I'm with somebody I don't particularly like.
Rita has a saying she coined over dinner one time, that if you want something to pay like a job, you got to treat it like a job. and that goes double for writing, I think.
Oh yeah, for me, when I would see how much I made every year. I mean, I don't spreadsheet as much as I used to. I used to spreadsheet every book to an inch of its life. I take data on everything because I'm an engineer. It's what I do. And I got to this point where it's like I'm doing okay, but I wanted to go to the next level. And going to the next level meant, 18-hour days, 6.5 days a week. On Sundays, we'd go out to the mine in the morning, and then I'd come back about 3 o'clock after, moving a ton of earth while we're dredging and stuff on the side. And yeah, I go back to work. I write. I'm up to 2 o'clock every night, getting up at 9 o'clock every morning, 8, 9 o'clock every morning. And yeah, I was putting out a book a month. And it's funny because everyone thinks I'm this fast, great writer. And I've never met him face to face. We're acquaintances online. Michael Scudero. Blaze Corbin, who's also a friend of mine, who I have met, we would joke about Michael because Michael could literally write a 60 to 70,000 word novel in a week. The man does 10,000 word days like every day. He is a machine, and he writes good. That's what's amazing about it. He writes these good stories at this high rate of speed. And I asked him one time. Now, yeah, he's a lot younger than me. He's like 20 years younger than me. But I asked him one time about it, and he's like, "But I've always wanted to write. Haven't you?" I go, "Yeah, but I just can't get it out that fast.
I can't do 10,000 words a day."
I used to do 10,000 words a day, but not anymore.
Well, I have seen Cedar put out 10,000 word days.
Yeah.
But it's 1,000 word day, 1,000 word day, 200 word day, 10,000 word day, 50 word day, no word day, no word day.
Yeah, that. And folks like John Ringo. John Ringo is insane. He's insane in a good way, but I cannot write the way that man writes.
I can't either.
I only think he can.
I couldn't afford it if both of you could, because then I'd be paying for 3 authors.
Well, the thing is, John sits there and he doesn't write a word for like a month or 2 or 3.
Right.
Because he's doing the entire book in his head. And then he sits down and he's like Mozart. Everything's already in his head and it just boom comes out.
Yeah, and like 40, 50, 60,000 word bursts. I can't do that.
Nonstop. He goes nonstop until it's all, because it's all in his head. Me, I can't have all the words in my head because I revisit scenes constantly if they're there. So I got to get them on paper before they get changed.
Yep.
Yep. So what you're saying is John writes the book in his head.
Yeah.
And the rest of it's data entry.
Pretty
Just
much.
about, yeah.
Pretty much.
And he's amazing at it.
Something else. The second thing I want to go over is the latest. I don't know if it's latest. It is for us. The latest scam. I've been getting these for a while. Kelly Grayson got one. He sent me an email. He was all sorts of thrilled because a editor, a big publishing house, had sent him an email about his Nosferatu interrogative. And he was all sorts of thrilled, asked me to take a look at it. So I went to the first thing I do for all of these. Same thing John did when he got one of these. I went to the publishing site. I looked for the editor that contacted Kelly, and I screenshot their contact information. And then I compared it to contact information on the email he'd received. And there were subtle differences. And for those of you who don't know, John got a similar one.
Hello, John. I hope you're having a great week. My name is Tony Weisskopf, and I serve as executive editor at Baen Books. I recently had the opportunity to read Summer's End, and I was impressed by its engaging blend of classic space opera, strong coming-of-age elements, and the confident narrative voice throughout. Dave Walker's journey, combined with the lived-in feel of solar system setting, made for a compelling read. And it's got Tony's picture at the bottom. Tony published Summer's End. I wrote Summer's End for Tony after she asked me to. I forwarded this to her. I said, "You may get a laugh at it." I haven't gotten a response yet.
But again, it was just, if you look at the contact information at the bottom of the scanned email, it was from Bean, not Baen.
Yeah, I don't know if
Bean
you can
Books.
see this. My hand's shaking too much. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Tony Wee.
And I'm here to tell you guys, if you get one of these emails from a big publishing house, I've got them from Tor, I've got them from these German places. Tor does not use a gmail.com address. Nobody in the business. We don't even use Gmail anymore.
Yeah, Bain is Bain.com.
Bain.com. But just because they're not using a Gmail doesn't necessarily mean it's still not a scam. The one that Kelly got was from hbg-usa.com, is the actual publishing house. hbg-usa. On the scam email, it was hb-gusa. So always, always, do your dancing. Be happy that a big name's contacted you. Then go to the website, get the contact information from the alleged person in contact, and compare all of it, and look for the little things.
And if you're not sure, I got one from a company in Australia. Now, Australia is actually my third biggest fan base. Britain's my second. Australia's my third. Sometimes Australia's second. And I sell things cheaper to people in Australia. I actually lower my royalty rate there because books are really expensive in Australia.
Really?
Yeah. Australia's economy it's worse than Mexico's.
Oh, wow.
I know people who live there too, and I've heard a lot. So I'm like, okay, this place publishes independent authors, and doing a bit of his stuff, it's like, this could be legit. So I engaged them with a response to see what they said, but then I also went to their website of the company, and I looked it up on Google. I didn't go through the mail. I didn't use any of their links. And I found a general query, and I said, hey, I was told, I was just contacted by someone claiming to work for your company by this name. Are you soliciting me for some of my works? And they wrote me back very quickly saying, no, that's not us. It's a scammer. We've been having problems with them. So you can contact a lot of places and they'll do this. On the other hand, there are a number of people out there who have one or two books that they've got mass market published, with a big company. So they're not big names, and they're doing the same thing. They're going around scraping lists and sending out emails to everyone, trying to get people to go through them so they can be like, get the 15%.
You want to be an
agent. Basically trying to be an agent or something like that.
And don't get me wrong. If you got an agent, good on you. I don't like agents.
I wouldn't get one from the internet. I wouldn't get one from an email that I received on the internet.
I'm not these days. I don't actually know why an agent. Other than if you're going trad pub, you probably need an agent. Since I don't ever intend to go trad pub, I don't see why agents are necessary. And quite honestly, if your agent sends me a letter about your book, that's not going to land real well. Please don't have agents contact me. You're an author, nut up and send me the email, okay?
Yeah, it's not worth paying somebody else 15%. Mm-hmm. And a lot of things that happens with authors is your money goes through the author. A lot of agents have basically embezzled a lot of money out of authors.
Boy, no kidding. No kidding.
Or caused problems or this. I mean, agents are famous for this, especially in the rock and roll industry, but even in the writing industry. There have been suicides over authors over agents withholding funds.
Yeah. H.B. Piper committed suicide. I think it was H.B. Piper.
It was H.B. Piper, but in this case, it was because his agent died and no one told him and no one forwarded the money because his agent had been sitting on it, and Piper thought nobody wanted his stuff and nobody was paying for it. He didn't realize that, no, it was all sitting in the agent's account and the agent died.
If I heard, now Piper was a great author, no argument there.
Yeah.
So was Howard. But if you tell me that any author, including Rowling or anybody you can name from any big name publisher, if you tell me that they committed suicide yesterday, I'd buy it because I know a lot of authors. Ain't none of them wrapped too tight.
What? It's a rough business too, and it was rougher when everything was through TradPub and you had to go through that gateway and all the stuff that used to go on.
All of the bad stuff you hear about being done to creatives by Hollywood or by the recording industry.
Yeah.
And both of them been dirty. It's been worse in the publishing industry. The bad deals you hear about bands getting, authors have gotten much worse deals in the past.
Yeah. I don't know if I've told this story before. The neighborhood I grew up in was a very interesting neighborhood. Okay, there were a lot of very rich, wealthy, and famous people in my neighborhood, as well as a lot of people who weren't terribly rich. And everybody went to the same high school. This was in the 60s and the 70s, and rich people didn't send their kids to private school. And I'm in high school. I'm on the AV squad. I'm 11th grade, and we would have people come in and talk, and they'd be there all day, and they talk, and kids would get their fathers. Well, this guy, he's the vice president of Capitol Records. He knows the Beatles. He knows Bruce Springsteen. He knows every act that Capitol Records has ever signed. And this is in 76, 75. And I'm sitting in the back room because he doesn't have a thing this hour. So he's talking with the guy who runs AV, Larry Wright, who was a friend. I knew him. He was a friend of the family, small town. And he's talking about everything he's ever seen and done. And one of the things he said, we would put the contract down in front of people. They just sign it. They wouldn't take it to a lawyer. Half the time, they wouldn't even read it. They're so excited to get a contract, they'd sign it. He goes, if they had said, we want to read it, we'd have been, okay. If they had said, we want to take it to our lawyer, we would have been, okay. We're going to sign them. We want them. This is the negotiation phase. He goes, never sign a contract without reading it. When I buy a house, I read all the paperwork. Mm-hmm. I read that entire packet, front to back. Every contract I've ever signed, I read. And if I'm not sure, I have lawyers for that. I do send contracts to lawyers. I mean, I just went around on a big thing with Simon & Schuster. Their Simon Maverick is their audiobook imprint. And their contract out of the gate is very ruinous to authors. It's not good.
John, let me take a look at it. And I was in shock.
And I sent it to my lawyer, and we went around 3 times on this. And I finally told my lawyer, I said, if they don't settle within the next 48 hours, I'm out. I'm done. And it was funny because my lawyer pinged them. They said, oh, yeah, it's, we're just cleaning a few things up. It'll be over by the end of the day. And it pretty much was. And it was much better. And that I was happy with, and I signed it. I mean, there were a few clauses they were stuck on, and they weren't going to change. They weren't real showstoppers. It was just a little annoying with some stuff. But they wanted me to take all the risk. And it's like, no, you're Simon & Schuster, okay? You spend probably $100 million on just office parties every year. I used to work for Penguin Publishing years ago, and they own, I believe, Simon & Schuster now. And I know how much money Penguin has.
Randy Penguin Random House, Randy Penguin.
Yeah.
They're huge.
Yeah, I worked for them through a subdivision for something else. And they were a nice company, but,
Somebody asked me one time how Ractor Press could have a 2-page contract. And I told them 2 pages is as much as I can read. Well, I wouldn't give somebody a contract that I couldn't read.
There was an author, I'm not going to mention names, I'm not going to drag anybody through the mud, but she was running an anthology series. This back 20 years ago.
I think I know which one it is, too.
Maybe not 20, but close to 20. And she based her contracts on the RCA contracts and admitted to it in a panel.
Lather her up and shave your ass if you apply to that anthology.
But she had a lot of people that were signing.
Because like John said, they just see a contract, they sign the contract.
Well, the one thing I will say is, to the best of my knowledge, nobody who signed in that series of anthologies ever received a dime.
Ever got paid? I know exactly which one you're talking about.
And that's also very common, not getting paid for a lot of things. This is a thing I've gone around with a number of companies over a number of years. There is nothing wrong with demanding your money. It's your money. It's not the company you work for. It's not their money. It's your money. They owe you money. They got to pay you. I'm an engineer. And this is before I went consulting full time. And the company I was working for owed me money. And I got up and I said, I'm going home. I told my boss, but you're still paying me. He goes, huh? Said, they owe me money. He goes, why can you need it? But no, it's the principle of the thing. They owe me money. They either get a check here by lunchtime or I'm going home and you're still paying me. I'm still on the payroll. So you guys see how it feels. Yeah, they had a check there. It's like another time I was working for a company and they kept slow rolling the payments for me on my credit card for expense account. And I'm traveling all over the country for this company and they're slow rolling everything. And my card is like getting denied now because I got like $5,000 on it and I keep my card limits low for particular reasons. So they finally, and I tell them next time, okay, from now on, you got to give me money up front, this, that, and everything else. And it comes to a point I owe them several $1,000s. It's sitting in my bank. And they go, we need the money. I go, yeah, you'll get it in 60 days. We need the money now. No, you're going to get it in 60 days. Well, we said, it was okay for you to tell me 60 days, but it's not okay for me to tell you 60 days. My boss came over and I said, no, dude, they're not getting the money for 60 days. They did this to me for months, for half a year. No, now they get to feel it. They don't like it, they can fire me. I'll sue their asses for this, but they got to wait the 60 days, just like I had to wait the 60 days. Oh, man, that went up all the way to the head of the company. But I was like, now you guys know how it feels. Stop playing games with my money.
Yep. And I'd like to piggyback off that, going back to staff officer days. I would like to reiterate for the guys in the back. As an independent author, money comes to you. Money does not flow from you to the. Now, if you want to pay an editor, by all means, pay an editor. If you're going through a small publisher and you're having to pay, something ain't right. Something ain't right. Please don't get screwed. There's a older gentleman, and I've just shut down another vanity press because it pissed me off. They charged him $12,350 to publish his book.
Oh,
yeah.
How many years will it take? Let's assume the book is relatively successful. How many years will it take to earn that back?
Well, the hell of it is they're allegedly, when they were still in business, they were still getting 50% of the royalties after he paid them $12,350.
The one time I was at LTUE, I did a panel on how to publish. Actually, I did a presentation. It was me. I have a standard presentation I used to do at conventions. How to publish, how to self-publish, what to do. And I warned people about a lot of this stuff. And afterwards, a guy came up to me and he got hit and he was out several $1,000s and he had this contract. And I was like, well, here are the things you got to do. But folks, if you don't understand the contract, get a lawyer. Let the lawyer look at it.
Or at least talk to somebody in the business that's been around for a while that does understand that sort of thing.
If somebody's publishing your book, if they're not sharing in the pain, they don't have any there's no drive to market it.
There's
to get it out
no
there.
Skin in the game.
They don't have any skin. Thank you. You don't have any skin in the game. They don't have any skin in the game. If you're going to a small publisher, if they're going to publish your book, then they need to split the royalties. That way, they've got a impetus to actually do something for you. If you hand them $12,350, they don't have to market that book.
That's 3 times what the average average trad pub author gets for a advance.
Quick side note here. Okay, what Robert Cruz just said, that line at the end there, put that in YouTube. There is a famous video by that title. I watch it every couple of years.
Oh,
if you're in business,
you pay me?
Fuck you, pay me.
Yep.
And
it's
is
on YouTube.
Fantastic. And if you're a consultant, which I was for over a decade, man, yeah, that is, and it even applies a lot of it to writing.
Yeah. Tuvla says, I used John's YouTube video and cheat sheets to help me figure out formatting for self-pub. Very helpful. Thank you, John.
Oh, I'm glad it helped.
Yeah, John told me about it. It's called Fuck You, Pay Me. And it is. If you're self-employed, you need to watch that video at least once a year.
Yeah, and you need to understand, lawyers make you money. Okay, yeah. You may have to pay some money for the lawyer up front, but lawyers make you money. They stop you from getting ripped off. They get you better contract terms. They get you out of situations or keep you from getting into situations you should never have got into in the first place. And I have a lot of lawyers. I don't actually know how many I've got at this point. I got a lot. Some of them are very expensive.
I've got phone numbers for 3 lawyers.
I have 2 lawyers in California, one of which is the law firm that represents all the studios. The other lawyer, I think, retired. I have a lawyer in Washington State. I have a lawyer, one, maybe 2. I think the other one retired in New York. I have 5 or 6 lawyers in Texas. I have my 2 who go to court. I got the guy who does my day-to-day. I got my tax lawyer. I think I got somebody else out there. I got a lawyer in Holland, somewhere in the Netherlands, and I have a lawyer in Beijing.
Now, most of us can't afford that. However,
I can't afford it either.
his point that lawyers make you money is not wrong. Lawyers stop you from having to bite the pillow. If I'd had a decent law, if I'd had a lawyer take a look at the first contract I ever did with another company, I'd probably be about 5 figures richer right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're doing business in China, you need a lawyer in China. I was going to do business in China. I ended up backing out because we couldn't get them to amend the terms of the contract. Because if you go to court with a company in China, first thing they do is they translate the contract to English. Probably to Chinese, to Mandarin, from English. And that's that translation that gets held up in court. So if you're going to do business in China and the terms of the contract are going to be enforced in China, you want the contract in Mandarin. So the courts don't have to translate it. And there's a whole number of different things and stuff. But in all honesty, you don't ever want to do business in China, period. No matter what anyone tells you, it's a mistake. All the companies here in the United States doing business in China, they're getting screwed. They just don't know it yet.
China is doing to publishing what China did to every other industry. In spades. Yes, have a lawyer. And you can find a lawyer, I won't say cheap, but inexpensive, and they'll save you money. If I'd had a European lawyer when I signed my first contract, I'd probably have an extra $60,000 or $70,000 right now.
Yeah, I have a good lawyer in Austin if you really need, and he does IP stuff. A lot of people use him. I got him from a friend, and he will set you up with lawyers in other places if you need it. Now, he'll do a lot of legal stuff, but he doesn't go to court. He gets other people for that. And that's where I got my 2 guys down who were in Houston. And I was, I think, one of the first book guys they took to IP court and all that for copyrights. Normally they deal with movie stuff.
Yeah. So John's dead on. Please have a lawyer look at your stuff.
Yeah. Usually it's pretty clear. It's all very logical if you read through it. But if you don't understand it, it doesn't cost you much. Usually it's like $100. It's worth it. And you can write it off your taxes.
Yes. You'd be surprised. Oh, that's something else. Talk to a tax lawyer, take him out to coffee, and ask what you can take off your taxes. You will be surprised.
Yeah, get a CPA.
I'll definitely get a CPA.
You do not want anyone but a CPA doing your taxes, period.
I had an author, one of our authors, and I asked him, what at LibertyCon, I said, "You're taking this off your taxes, right?" And he did the, what? Yes. There are certain points you have to hit, but yes, you can take going to a convention. If you're an author, you can take going to a convention off your taxes.
Because it's business.
It's business, and it's doorstep to doorstep, as my lawyer says. Once you leave your doorstep heading for LibertyCon or wherever, just a whole bunch of stuff you have to do to get there, keep your receipts. And then coming back home, keep your receipts.
And keep your mileage, keep your receipts. Sometimes it's better to go with mileage instead of receipts. Your CPA will figure that out for you. I mean, I've had the same accountant now for over 30 years. When she retires, I'm in so much trouble. But I got lucky. Okay, a friend of mine turned me on to her when I was in Oregon. I started working with her, and she does basketball players because of the basketball team up there. So she knows because the taxes for all 50 states. Then I find out she's doing authors. So she's done a couple of famous authors, big authors. She won't tell me who they are, but she's mentioned it. So when I started doing writing stuff, she's like, okay, yeah. And, and she was the one who told me when it was time to incorporate. California, no, you don't incorporate California. It costs too much money. It's worthless.
There are several states you don't incorporate it.
Yeah. Once I moved to Texas, she's like, yes. And then I called Travis. Oh, God, I can't remember Travis. Travis is an independent author as well. He's also a tax attorney. And Travis Bagwell. And he doesn't even take people anymore. He's got so many independent authors and stuff like that. He's tax attorney for.
I don't know if
but I got him.
I know if Jen Hast is on here. Jennifer Hast in Oklahoma City is she's got her CPA. I don't know. She got a degree in something to do with all of that woo woo. And she's actually said that she's actually starting. She wants her business to be doing taxes for creatives. It's like, God bless you, my child. You are such a world of hurt.
It's, it's good and it's bad. But the thing is up until recently, writers paid higher taxes than everyone else.
No kidding.
Because royalties are based on a performance. And so you got the great benefits when you did the performance. So your royalties get taxed at a different rate because, well, you're making money off of something that already made you money. That was the government's view. So the royalty system was set up for performers, whereas writers, we never did a performance that we got paid for. The book is what we're getting royalties on. That's our performance. So we used to pay like 1.5% higher rate than everybody else, which is part of why I incorporated, so I could cut that money down through expenses to payroll and everything.
If you're driving like we and I were to LibertyCon, you want to, when you get in the car, write down your mileage. Get to wherever you're going, come back. When you get out of the car, back home, write down your mileage. Keep all of your gas receipts. Take all of that to your accountant. She's going to look at the mileage and look at the gas receipts and see which one will work for you better. Also, Carlton McKinney says, I have all of your books under Van Stry and Stryvant. Do you have any other pseudonyms?
No. That is it.
There you go.
So, just a side note, Portals of Infinity 12 is finished. I just got it back from my editor this morning, so I'll probably be working on it tomorrow. I got the cover from Cedar. So it'll probably go out. I got to give you a check to bring home to Cedar.
Oh, I'll take the check anytime.
It's not going to be made out to you, sorry. I know you.
We have a joint account. I can cash it.
I don't want to see you come in with pot bruises on your head from her whacking you. But it should be out probably next week. I am actually now working on the sequel to Sometimes in the Fall. This will be the third book in the Seasons of Change trilogy. I'm hoping to have that done for Bane. That's through Bane. After that gets out and gets done, I'm going to write a sequel to Wolfhounds. Probably going to be about 3 or 4 books. We'll see. I haven't figured it all out yet. And then a lot of people have said they want a follow-on book to Valley of Fire. So I'm going to write that after I finish Wolfhounds. And
okay. So Jesse Barrett says
the 2 kids that were in a foreign nation and
yeah. Jesse Barrett says the audiobook for How to Be a Werewolf just dropped today. Congratulations.
Yes, it dropped. It's on a whole bunch of things. I don't know if you saw the link on the Facebook fan page. I got that from Simon and Schuster today, and I put it up because it lists everywhere that the book's for sale. Book 2 goes up next month, and then book 3 goes up in October.
So it's How to Be a Werewolf. And if you're familiar with the Blanket Fort, it takes place in this area.
Yeah. There's a few people who under different names may have been mentioned, and a few people who got what was coming to them, you could say.
Well-deserved rewards.
Yes, very well-deserved rewards.
So his How to Be a Werewolf takes place in this area. So you might want to check it out. Do you know if Bane is going to do audio for Sometime in the Fall?
I have no idea. If they buy the 3rd book, I got to finish it first. When they buy it, I'll have that conversation with Tony. I need to talk with Tony and let her know I'm going to start writing more books for her.
Yes. And I don't see Tony turning down the 3rd book. I really don't.
No, I don't think she will either. I have another series I'm going to pitch to her as soon as I have the 4th book finished.
Dan says that Bean Books might do the audio for you.
It'll be all scratchy. Noise in the background, kids screaming,
And,
occasional pig being slaughtered.
and they'll talk about the 3006 rifle. I scream about needing an accountant. No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. John, what else? What else is coming out? We're about to.
That's pretty much what's coming up right now. Are those things? I'm just trying to work through it. I'm going to shift some of my focus more towards Strat Pub. I think I mentioned that before because it makes my life easier. And I might be at Liberty Con next year because Arlen Andrew wants to hook up and talk because I haven't talked to him in years. Other than that, not a lot. It's been an hour already. I can't believe it.
Right? Are you, any other cons you're thinking about going to?
Pecan. I will be at Pecan. I may do sales at Pecan. I'm still on the wall about that. If I'm going to do it or not. Jesse probably should talk to him and see what he's doing because I made him get a booth last time.
So I'm going to, Rita and I will be at Writer's Cantina. Not this weekend, but next, somewhere along there. Rita's got the itinerary. I think it's next weekend after next. I don't know. Oh, hell, not again. Yeah, right. We'll be doing Pecan, and I think that's it for our con schedule this year because we're just knackered. Sanford, what's Cedar up to?
Cedar is working on her latest groundskeeper book.
Good.
Good series.
Yeah.
Mostly right now, she's busy taking care of the puppy that we just acquired. That I think she is the bomb.
Yes, most of them do.
It's terrified of me, which is something I have never seen before out of a dog. It's finally gotten to the point where he'll let me pet him. And when Cedar is out of the room for some reason, he comes to me, "Well, where's Mama? Where's Mama? Would you keep me company until Mama comes back?" I've never had a dog that was afraid of me before, unless it was afraid of everybody. It's blowing my mind.
Oh, something I did need. We're going to have an official announcement come out.
Thanks, Jesse.
We're going to have an official announcement come out, but Buck, yeah, we it's not going to happen. The stories we were getting were we don't have enough to put together an anthology right now. So Buck, yeah, is getting set off, and we're going to the third or fourth Weird Warfare is coming out instead. We got enough good stories out of Weird Warfare that we're gonna our fill-in anthology will be Weird Warfare. So if you wrote for a Buck, yeah, you'll be getting an email, and we'll make an official announcement. Sorry, guys, we just didn't get enough. We didn't get enough stories. It happens. When you do almost 80 anthologies, occasionally you have one that just doesn't pan out, and this one didn't pan out.
This time.
Surprise redacted antho. Sorry, Jesse. So much for redaction. My bad. Y'all need to tell me when I don't need to run my mouth. You know that, right? Anywho, so we're out of here. Greg tells me that Writers County is next week. Rita's got the itinerary. I don't know. I'll be there. I've got a plane ticket, so I'll be there. I think this is Tuesday. Jim will be back, and
if you're gone next Thursday, Jim will be here by himself.
I guess next Thursday. Writers County. I don't know.
I said, if you're gone.
I've got a Rita, so that's already handled. John, thank you for coming on.
No, thanks for having me.
Sanford, thank you for being here.
Yep, thanks.
And we're out of here, guys. Y'all be safe, okay?
I still think Hurricane's harem's a hentai would be a natural.
No. No.
Yeah.